We're now going to go ahead and replace our radiator fan shroud. With the hood open, you're going to go ahead and locate your upper radiator hose, and there's a little retaining clip or clamp right here. I'm going to use a little pocket screwdriver. I'm going to go into the top here and simply pry this open. This is going to allow us to go ahead and get some flexibility out of this upper radiator hose. We have a connector on the driver's side of the vehicle. I'm going to use our pry tool. First step, just disconnect the bulkhead connector right here. Now that you have your connector separated from the radiator fan shroud here, I'm going to use a small pocket screwdriver. I'm going to go into the back side here, and we're going to apply some downward pressure on the little lock tab. Once you have that pressure down, you should release the lock. It might take a couple tries to get that, but you want to go ahead and pull these two apart, separate that connector. When you're using the pocket screwdriver, you're reaching in and you're applying pressure on this little tab in here to go ahead and release that locking mechanism there. So now that we have that separated, we can just go ahead and set those aside. Now on the top of our fan shroud here, there's a 13mm bolt right here, and on the passenger side you're going to find a bolt in the same exact spot. Let's go ahead, loosen and remove these bolts. Here is that other bolt. It's located directly below your radiator fill cap here, your pressure cap. So if you just follow that cap down, you're going to locate that bolt. Go ahead and remove that bolt and set it aside. On the bottom of our fan shroud here, there's going to be 3 plastic clips that join our lower splash shield to this. I'm going to use our trim tool. Get in here, and let's go ahead and pop these buttons out. One in the middle, and one on the passenger side. That'll separate this component, and you can see in the middle of our fan shroud here, ours was broken and it was held together with a couple plastic wire ties here. There are going to be some plastic retainer tabs and clips around the bottom that secure this portion of our fan shroud to this portion here. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a trim tool here. I'm pretty much going in and I'm going to dislodge our clips. Now it's basically locked into one another, the front to the bottom. You can see I'm just kind of separating this and popping it apart. Now at the bottom dislodge, there are 2 tabs, one on each side, that actually interlock into the upper portion of our shroud. And we'll be able to show you better on the replacement part, but at this point here, we just want to work this component out and remove this here. Now what this allows for is for us to go ahead up top and take our fan shroud and pull it straight up. That way there we don't have to remove the fan from the engine. What you want to do is go ahead and get a catch can underneath the driver's side corner of that radiator in the front. We're going to go ahead and disconnect our upper radiator hose. You want to catch any residual coolant that might come out. Now you can use a pair of pliers to go ahead and squeeze this clamp and slide it back. We're going to go ahead and use our hose clamp tool for this. Once we have that clamp back, let's go ahead and work our hose free. Before we pop this here, I'm going to go ahead and grab a strap, because what we do is when we pop this back, I'm going to fold this back and I'm going to anchor it in the back position so that coolant doesn't continue to leak out through here. Let's go ahead and lift up on our fan shroud, and we're going to dislodge that from its retaining tabs on the side. Now as we pull this up, the electric fan itself is going to come out with it. Now there's going to be a tab on the top here. It's going to be the same on the passenger side, but you're going to push this tab back and we're going to lift up on the fan. It's going to unlock it from its position. Then we're going to try and pull up the fan shroud as well as the electric fan at the same time. It's a little bit awkward trying to get both of these components out, but eventually you can twist them up and out like so. Now once you remove your new fan shroud out of the box, you want to go ahead and separate the lower portion from it. We're going to go ahead and use our plastic trim tool. I'm just going to get underneath and go ahead and release these clips all the way around. Once that pops out, go ahead and slide this out. Now the new part here, you're going to see that there's a little locking tab right here with a tooth, and same on the other side here. So not only are you going to be locking in the two side tabs here, but you're also going to be locking in the bottom portion as well, so it's secured all the way around once we install it. What we're going to look at here are two little tabs. There's one here and there's one down below here. Now this is going to replicate on the driver's side, and these tabs here are basically what our electric fan and our radiator fan shroud are going to lock into, so these are pretty important. Let's go ahead and lower our fan shroud and our fan down into position. Now as we lower the fan down, I want to go ahead and make sure we can get these tabs lined up and lock those in to those tabs on the radiator I just showed you. So we got our lower tab in, upper tab just locked into place. Now we can go ahead and position our fan shroud into position. Pay attention to the connector for your electric fan. Make sure that is routed in the correct position. It's not getting caught anywhere. We got the driver's side locked in. Go to the passenger side, and we're going to do the same over there. Now on the top of your radiator here, there's a little tab here for the electric cooling fan. There's a little metal retaining tab. I'm going to go ahead and just push that down. And that just pretty much holds that fan nice and tight to the top of the radiator. Now on the top of our old fan shroud, we have the hose clamp right here. And it's just held in with a couple of little Christmas tree buttons underneath. So I'm just going to use our trim tool, get underneath and gently pry this out. It is a reusable part. Once you pop it out, that's what you should have. Let's go ahead and install it on the new part. Simply take the clamp, line that up, and push that in. So we're going to install our upper fan shroud bolts. We'll get our driver's side bolt started here. Just get to start a few threads. I'm just going to reach over and install the passenger side one, then we're going to come back, snug these down. Now you just want to snug those down. You're just securing the plastic to plastic. You don't want to cause any damage. So just snug that down into place. We'll do the same for the passenger side. I'm going to go ahead and install our connector back together for our electric fan, but we did have some residual coolant from our hose removal here. So I'm just going to wipe this down. Then we'll go ahead and connect our connector. And then we'll install this right there. Let's go ahead and install our upper radiator hose. So we're just gonna release it from our little strap here. Bring this over, and I'm gonna keep it tipped up as long as possible so I can get it onto the radiator and boop, slide that on. On the top of your fan shroud here, we can now go ahead and drop the hose into our clamp. It's safe to go ahead and clip that as well. All right, let's go ahead and install our clamp here. We're going to use some solvent, and we're going to clean the top portion right here on the top of our fan shroud. Get rid of any residual oils or grease. We're going to try and swap over our decal here from the factory. Peel that off. I'm going to bring that over here and line this up and install that on the top here. Let's go ahead and push our lower shroud up into place, and these outer tabs should line up into our upper shroud unit. Now I want to go ahead and line up the bottom. This section here goes underneath, and then our clips here on the end, basically going to line this up, push that in, and that pops in, and then we push up on the sides, and that locks in. We have it, we're locked into place. While we're here, we have our lower shield to install. Let's get install our plastic push pins. Get that lined up, pop that in, and our driver's side. Now we removed our upper radiator hose. We lost roughly about a cup or so of coolant. Now our engine is still cooled, so is our radiator. We're going to go ahead and open up our radiator cap, and we're just going to top off the fluid in our radiator. And once our radiator is filled up, you got to remove your funnel, secure your cap, and just give everything a quick little wipe down. You're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.